Great batch of shine, Odell. It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is Thoreau Smiley, the June centerfold of Big and Busty, and I am joined by...
I'm Josh Cece, and I received my training in Okinawa.
I'm Brian Lesh. I must have taken a wrong turn at the last bog.
I'm Alaric Weber, and it's Monster Central around here tonight.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence, the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, and then we tell you about it. This week, we are watching The Return of Swamp Thing.
The big green guy is back.
They call me Swamp Thing.
You're a plant, aren't you?
He's come back to settle the score.
Find him and bring him in.
He's got a grudge, cause they turned him to sludge.
I believe this is yours.
What?
The Return of Swamp Thing. Starring Louis Jourdan.
What did you do? Sell your soul to the devil?
Let's just say he has a lease with an option to buy.
Heather Locklear.
She can get in my James anytime she wants to.
Why can't men be more like plants? I mean, you can stroke a plant and it doesn't get the wrong idea.
And Swamp Thing.
But I can't give you the kind of love you want.
Why not?
I'm a plant.
That's okay. I'm a vegetarian.
The Return of Swamp Thing. He's turning over a new leaf for love.
The Return of Swamp Thing. He's turning over a new leaf.
That's fantastic.
So Swamp Thing was released May 12th, 1989, with a running time of 88 minutes. I couldn't find anything about its budget. It only made $274,000 at the box office. I have to assume it had a very limited run. Most of its money, I imagine, would probably have come from VHS.
Rentals.
Rentals, yes, rentals.
Rentals.
From Blockbuster?
Yes. Hollywood Video, perhaps?
Everyone in Louis Jourdan's family.
I know last time I was saying Louis Jordan or Louis Jordan because I had no idea he was that classy.
Right. Well,
We see that in this movie, though, that he is that classy.
He is that classy.
There's a Louis Jordan who's a famous musician, you know.
Yeah.
But also this guy.
Yes. There's not really a whole lot more character background to get into because we kind of covered it the last time with Swamp Thing.
Yeah, he's Alec Holland.
See Swamp Thing 1.
I touched a little on Abigail Arcane. We talked about her slightly before. As we all know, in the comics, she is the niece of Anton Arcane. In this movie, she appears as the stepdaughter.
But with the same last name.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, that is odd.
Yeah.
Stepdaughter.
There's
with
a
the
few
same
odd things.
Last name.
Superhero alliteration. It happens all the time.
In the comics, she was born in Transylvania in 1955. She had interests in science, ecology, and environmentalism.
And sucking blood?
No, she was not a vampire.
She just eats plants.
She was the other half of the village. You know?
In the comics, she was depicted with natural shining white hair with 2 streaks of black. Black hair running through her hair. As a teenager, she develops a strong sense of empathy. That's one of her powers. Not your normal empathy, but she actually has the ability to feel the emotions of others.
She's an empath.
Yes, she is an empath.
Right on.
Some,
Deanna Troy.
yeah, some Deanna Troy.
So she studies some first aid and becomes a nurse. She's married once before. I say once before because eventually she does marry Swamp Thing.
Oh.
She's married to...
I'm glad they made it legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice little
barely. She's married. She's married at one point to government agent Matthew Cable. Meets him while he is searching for Swamp Thing.
Wait a minute. So Cable, that was Alice's name in the last Swamp Thing.
Huh.
Adrienne Barbeau.
Oh yeah.
Alice Cable.
Yeah. Maybe connection. So Abby and Matt, they're saved several times by Swamp Thing over the course of trying to find him, and friendship develops through the saving of lives. Yeah.
It was friendship all
So,
along.
were there comics of
That was the swamp
Abby
we found along the way.
leaving Swamp Thing for this guy Matt? Was that like a really sad time for Swamp Thing in the comics, or was this before Swamp Thing? Did he like die so she married Swamp
No,
Thing?
Abby left Matt for Swamp Thing.
Oh, because that's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Moving on.
crazy.
So yeah, getting to that.
That's got to be rough.
Yeah.
He cooks.
Like you couldn't be a lesbian.
or,
first
or an
time,
animal.
the first time Abby comes to the Louisiana Bayou, she falls in love with the swamp. Naturally,
would.
takes her back to her childhood of romping around in the outdoors. Abby and Matt's marriage is strained by Matt's alcoholism and growing friendship with Swamp Thing. His alcoholism stems from several bouts of torture as being a government agent through the years.
Oh,
Okay.
he was swamp waterboarded.
It happens.
Yeah,
Was he into that sweet shine?
Yeah.
he was. Abby was secretly married to Alec Holland, Swamp Thing, in 1985. After Matt had slipped into a coma permanently, and I guess really permanently this time. It's not a semi-permanent
Not a comic
coma like Superman's powers going away.
I suspect Swamp Thing in this.
Yeah, right.
It was actually Arcane was involved. Anton Arcane was involved in the coma of
Weird.
Matt Cable. Abby sometimes demonstrates powers of telepathy and telekinesis. Interestingly, Abby's comic character experienced real-life aging. So she was born in 1955, and in 1985, she was 30 years old when she married Swamp Thing. In 2005, she was age 50.
Wait, but did Swamp Thing age? Did any of the other characters age?
Of course not.
You have to measure it by
No, they did.
Like a tree would.
They would have. This was something peculiar to Vertigo Comics, which Swamp Thing was under the branch of.
Yeah.
Like John Constantine was also a character that experienced real life aging in the comic book world.
I wonder what the benchmarks are. They're like going to talk about your 401k.
So when Abby and Alec Holland were secretly married in 1985,
Secretly.
Secretly.
It was not in a church.
There was a
in a
baker in
swamp
Louisiana that's
somewhere.
like, I'm not making a cake for that.
Exactly.
That unholy union.
It's an abomination.
Like they're gonna have a hard time getting a license.
Tree and a lady.
I won't make a cake, but I will make a salad.
Well, I mean, it is a man tree and a lady, so it could be worse.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Their marriage was consummated by sharing a hallucinogenic tuber.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
common
is
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to see
That's
this.
we're
Psychedelic
see that in the
tuber.
movie, so-
hallucinogenic tuber,
The
Yes.
old tuber.
which was the name of our first band.
Yeah, that's right.
Her character was revamped, and her history was revamped during the New 52 in 2011 with DC, where she was made much younger. And Swamp Thing, the 2019, the series on the DC Universe.
Right.
Her character was revamped again, where she was a CDC scientist looking to cure mysterious illnesses affecting her hometown of Marais, Louisiana.
Ooh.
All right.
All right. Thank you. And of course, played by Heather Locklear.
Yes.
In this film.
That is right.
Heather Locklear, our lead actress in the film, she won the Razzie for this role.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She is
Deservedly so.
deservedly
Yeah, I think so.
It was fun though.
But
I
she
don't know, I
was
thought
going
was
for
fun.
it. No,
yeah.
the whole thing was fun. She was really going for camp.
Yeah, I think they all intended camp and they achieved
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
I can't really knock her for her role. In
She
this
knew what
and
she
how
was
did it.
doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, she's not the worst in it, but yeah, no, there's no problem with her.
This weird Bond villain guy's my dad. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
everybody fit.
Yeah.
yeah. No, everyone. Yeah, yeah. It was a very The tone was very even.
Right.
They all were doing the same thing.
Boy, howdy.
Except for Dick Durock. He was like,
Ooh, he's in the
he was doing it.
He was doing it.
spotlight.
Yeah. So Heather Locklear, perhaps best known for her role as Amanda Woodward in Melrose Place, for which she received 4 consecutive Golden Globe nominations for Best Actress in a Television Series Drama.
Holy cow.
Yeah, she's also known for her role as Sammy Jo Garrington on Dynasty from 1981 to 1989. And she concurrently with the Dynasty also played Officer Stacy Sheridan on T.J. Hooker,
Right, I was
82
gonna
to
say.
86.
She makes the TJ Hooker joke.
Yep, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She played Caitlin Moore on Spin City, 99 to 2002.
Yeah.
She was in one episode of Batman the Animated Series. Lisa Clark. Don't know who that was. She was also in Scary Movie 5,
Oh,
All right.
which I never saw.
and I never will.
She's in there.
This film, it was directed by Jim Wynorski,
Yeah.
who also directed Chopping Mall, Deathstalker 2, Big Bad Mama 2, Transylvania Twist, The Haunting of Morello, Sorority House Massacre 2, Hard to Die, not Die Hard,
Hard to die.
Beastmaster 2, Through the Portal of Time,
Wow, Beastmaster.
976 Evil 2, The Astral Factor, Scream Queen Hot Tub Party, Munchie, Final Embrace, House 4, Sins of Desire, Dark Universe, Biohazard, The Alien Force, Munchie Strikes Back, Dinosaur Island, Point of Seduction, Body Chemistry 3, Ghoulies 4, The Skateboard Kid 2.
That guy, if you need a sequel made,
He's going to do it.
that's the guy.
Midnight Tease 2, Body Chemistry 4, The Wasp Woman, Hard Bounty, Virtual Desire, Demolition High, Friend of the Family 2, Me Too,
Can we get these as a box set?
Vampirella, Hybrid, Vice Girls, Sorceress 2, The Pandora Project, The Escort 3, Active Stealth. I'm skipping a bunch, by the way, as I'm going
Jesus.
through this. He made a lot of
It looked
movies.
like you were going through the whole list.
They're all very memorable. We
It's
all
a long-
remember.
my
these-
It's a long
favorite,
list.
The Bear Wench Project.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
We watch that on Christmas Eve every year.
The Bear Wench Project 3, Nymphs of Mystery Mountain.
I mean, obviously, because the nymphs were in the first one, and that was the real question.
Right,
Whereas,
exactly.
like, where is Mystery Mountain after all?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
the expanded universe.
he is one of the greatest directors of all time, obviously.
For sequel.
Prolific.
Alabama Jones and the Busty Crusade.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
The
wow.
Witches of Beastwick.
Okay.
Wow! Holy crap!
The Breastfurred Wives.
These are very specific, and I rescind my comment from just like
oh my
5
god!
seconds
Oh my god!
ago.
Oh my god.
Holy crap!
My favorite, Cleavage Field. That's a found footage.
So he's still making these movies, and are these like bikini chicks with like machine gun kind of movies, or what?
His most recent.
Can I mention Sexapede and Piranaconda?
Oh no! Oh no! Why? That's
Piranha.
terrible.
Busty Coeds versus Lusty Cheerleaders.
The
Sex-
age-old question:
sexually bugged.
Who would win?
Sexually bugged.
Bugs like
gross.
by J. Edgar Hoover.
Shark Babes.
It's the only way he knew how.
Shark and Saw. Shark and Saw Women's Prison Massacre.
Holy cow. All right.
that's
now
awesome.
That's so funny.
Can we do that one for the Patreon?
Please.
I haven't seen it, but I saw it in the
Scared
one of the
topless.
apps
I was just
that
going to...
Scared topless.
Scared topless.
I've been there. I've
been scared topless.
But by the way, Scared Topless came out in 2015.
Holy crap!
Wow. So, yeah.
Wow.
2017, he wrote and directed Legend of the Naked Ghost.
The Naked Ghost.
The legend of.
The-
Well,
yeah.
some ghosts would have to be naked.
It's like a
They,
ghost flash.
right? They die naked.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's why I sleep with
ghosts
my clothes
never
on,
have
you
modern
know?
clothing on. But
Because I just don't want to be a naked ghost.
absolutely not.
That's my nightmare.
Same.
It was written by Neil Cuthbert, who was also known for The Adventures of Pluto Nash, Hocus Pocus, and Mystery Men.
Ooh. We're doing Mystery
Men
Men.
is
Yeah,
really good.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Pluto Nash is terrible.
Is really bad.
Yeah.
And co-written by Grant Morris, who also wrote "Does This Mean We're Married?" and "The Shrimp on the Barbie."
Obvious.
Throw another
like,
shrimp on the
super
Barbie?
classics.
No, just
that-
"The Shrimp on the Barbie."
Cheech
Cheech Marin.
Marin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is actually a really funny movie.
Yeah.
Now that I realize it's the Cheech Marin movie.
Yeah. The music was by Chuck Serino, who worked a lot with our director. He did the music for Cobra Gator, as well as he did the music for Shark-and-Saw Women's Prison Massacre.
Yeah, I'm sure that score is.
He did the music for Busty Coheads versus Lusty Cheerleaders,
the music for.
Lady Chatterley's Daughter, Dino Croc versus Super Gator,
Yeah.
Bone Eater. Wait,
right out there.
wait. I want to hear everyone's guess. Is that about sex or a monster?
Or both.
Or both?
A bone eater.
Yeah, you're such a bone eater. That's great. I never heard that.
Yeah. But
I wish I'd known that when I was a teenager.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have used that, man.
Right, exactly. It's hilarious.
Kids, it's all yours.
I can't use it now.
Tease your friends. Call them bone eaters.
this movie got 44% on Rotten Tomatoes.
44.
44.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Relatively high.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah, I mean it's not,
Rotten Tomatoes points for this movie.
yeah. Shall we take a listen to Mr. Roger Ebert?
The movie is one that you didn't miss either, and neither did I, but I don't know whether you wanted to miss it or not. It's called The Return of Swamp Thing. It's a sequel to the 1982 movie that, somewhat to our surprise, Gene and I both actually enjoyed very much. This movie, Return of Swamp Thing, is not quite the equal of the original, but it continues more or less in the same spirit as a mad scientist film in which we feel only sympathy for Swamp Thing. As you may or may not remember, Swamp Thing was once a respected scientist until he was burned in a laboratory explosion and covered with a mysterious substance, and when he jumped into the swamp to quench the flames, the chemicals interacted with the swamp water to make him into the first vegetable superhero.
I'm a plant.
That's okay.
By Dick Durock, he truly seems to come from the valley of the gentle green giants, and he speaks softly like an out-of-town businessman who had just come along in time to prevent Heather Locklear from being mugged right there in the swamp. I personally thought that Louis Jourdan should have turned up the voltage on his mad scientist performance. I don't think there's any advantage to being subtle in these roles, but by and large I enjoyed myself, and it was good to see Swamp Thing back in the water again. And I know that what you're thinking is, I know I can read your mind, how can I possibly give a good review to Return of Swamp Thing and give thumbs down to Lost Angels? Is that what you're asking?
You got
Would
it.
you like me to answer that, or would you?
Oh, keep going. You're doing fine.
I'd be happy
Just
to.
try and jump between the seats while you carry on.
Swamp Thing is successful at being, the Return of Swamp Thing is successful at being Return of Swamp Thing. I mean, when you go to see a movie like this, you have a set of expectations, Gene. You can't tell me you didn't.
Yeah. I hope that would.
Yes.
My expectation was.
I saw
It's
what...
funny, I thought I was going to talk.
No, you asked me to talk, and I said I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
I expected to see more or less what I saw at Return of Swamp Thing, and I thought they did a pretty good job of it.
Yeah. I
felt that on its much higher level of ambition and achievement, Lost Angels didn't quite make it over the edge.
And so, in other words, if you had to see one of the two films again, you'd rather go see Swamp Thing, right? Return of Swamp Thing?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about that.
Well, I think you should see Lost Angels
I think
again.
I could easily see a film twice that I still couldn't recommend and still be interested in seeing
Would
it
that
the
be
second time for the good qualities in it.
And would that be one of them? Lost Angels?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it would be. Yes.
Now, as far as Return of Swamp Thing is concerned, I had one expectation, that it would be as good or possibly better than Swamp Thing, Return of Swamp Thing. It wasn't. I sat there, Swamp Thing, I like Swampy. I liked him the first time.
Yeah?
He was sympathetic. He was a poor guy stuck in a bunch of vegetation. This time, I thought he was just a guy walking around, and Louis Jourdan looked like a stiff. I thought about his health when I watched him.
You're supposed to. After all, this man only has 24 hours to live unless he can get this injection of new genes, you know.
Well, but
That's the whole plot.
I know that.
You realize that?
Yes.
So didn't you like his mad scientist laboratory?
Not more. I didn't like him any more than you liked him. You knocked him in the film. I didn't like the swamp thing. I didn't like Georgian.
You didn't?
And then Heather Locklear just walked around with a few clothes on.
We have a disagreement
like
then.
you.
No kidding.
Okay,
I
thank
don't
you.
like this studio.
And there wasn't nearly enough Karen Allen.
Exactly.
So Siskel and Ebert getting into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their
They used to
relationship had
spar.
clearly deteriorated.
Oh, they were
a
always
little.
going to go back and forth.
Yeah. Wow. With that, are we ready to get into this, guys?
Born on a bike.
You know it, Gerdale.
All right, let's get into it. This is the return of Swamp Thing.
Swamp facts.
Swamp facts.
Ducks live in swamps.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
They do, and that is a duck fact. We open on the swamp. A group of armed treasury office workers?
Treasury agents.
Or
Right.
ATF. One of the
Well, no,
two.
because they said that. Oh, yeah. Wait, because they mentioned being in the Treasury Department.
Oh, they
specifically.
did mention it?
Yeah.
They did.
Because I
explicitly.
was listening. Okay.
Yeah.
Those would be the two. All right. Looking for a still.
Looking for some moonshine.
There's nothing like a little treasury agent humor to perk up the evening.
That's right.
Yeah. There's a lot of banter.
There is. They're trudging through the muck and complaining. One man becomes separated and is pulled under.
Is he the one with the schizoid metabolism?
No, he was the one that was taking the leak.
Yeah.
Schizoid metabolism survives.
He got caught with his pants down.
He did.
Sucked him dry, too.
His friends search for him, finding only his hat. Then the group is attacked by a monster. They open fire and it dives into the water. They try to make their escape and become separated. Two of them come across a jeep full of people and are shot with a trank gun.
Was it a trank gun?
I think so, because they were going to take them down to the lab and turn them into monsters.
Yeah, they turned them into monsters later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were really happy to see them because they were running away from the leech monster.
Yeah, which
And they say, like, we're really happy to see you guys. And she
Yeah.
did not seem happy to see them.
no, she was not happy at all to see them.
But they got some new subjects.
But she's dead
Apparently.
she's dead inside.
She's dead inside. Yeah.
Not enough people are named Mort anymore.
No.
Mortimer. Just that's a
Was that the name of a 1950s comedian?
lot. Yeah, Mort Saul.
Morty, that was the guy who got killed when
Yeah.
he was pissing on the tree.
Yes, Mort.
That was
The
those
tree
were
pisser.
good old Morty.
Yeah. The last man
We
is
hardly knew ye.
the last man is discovered by the monster who's about to kill him when Swamp Thing arrives and fights the monster off.
He's looking for his glasses. It was a very Velma moment.
Yeah,
He's
my
wanting-
glasses.
I can't see without them.
He doesn't say that explicitly, but I was thinking it the whole time.
Yeah.
But he is talking to himself.
Yes.
He's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta find-
It reminded me of Jurassic Park with the Dilophosaurus or whatever, where he loses his glasses.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Newman.
And it's important because Swamp Thing saves him. Swamp Thing grabs his glasses, and it's Harry Dugan. He introduces himself. They have a whole little conversation there while Harry doesn't have his glasses on. He's just talking.
Right.
He's just talking to Swamp Thing, and
Just
then
he thinks it's just a handsome man.
yeah, he's like,
a large, green, handsome man.
I ate these tubers.
and he introduces himself. He's like, my name's
off my own
Harry,
body.
or my name's Dugan, Harry Dugan. And Swamp Thing puts his glasses on. He's like, they call me Swamp Thing. And
Born on
That's
the
the music cue.
bayou.
I have a little note about Dugan.
oh, nice.
He's going to join us again in Black Panther. He plays a French ambassador.
And that is a Dugan fact.
That's a Dugan fact. You do a little Dugan and you'll find something.
He's an ambassador in Black Panther?
A French one, yeah.
A French ambassador, okay. Well, okay, that's all right then.
Yeah, as opposed to, yeah.
So we enter a comic book sequence. And we come out and we drop in on...
In the comic book sequence,
Yes.
we actually see... It's
really cool.
It is really cool.
the credits sequence is
This
great.
is a very modern
With
comic
the-
book intro.
Credence
sequence.
Clearwater.
Is this the first time we've had a comic book panel
yeah.
opening sequence like
Yes,
this?
it is.
And it looked great, and it
Yeah.
sounded great with Credence playing
With
in the
rock and
background.
roll playing
Yeah.
too.
Rock
It's
and
very
roll
like
playing.
Iron Man kind of
Yeah.
intro.
Bayou.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely the most modern, like wearing that comic bookness on its sleeve
Yeah.
we've had yet.
Abigail Arcane from the comics appears in this sequence 6 different times.
Oh, that's cool.
Right on.
With her white hair with the black streaks.
I love there's one oh I'm sorry, you're about to
Oh
say
no,
it.
go ahead.
Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
I knew
That's,
you were going.
that's what
That's
I
why I
was gonna
stopped myself.
say. There was one panel of Arkham Asylum with Joker was definitely there, and I think Scarecrow was in the other window. I could be wrong, but that was my impression.
Yeah, wasn't Swamp Thing's like head up over the top of Arkham Asylum?
It was,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was really cool. It was a really cool like cycle. Like somebody was like
Yeah,
hallucinating because they ate a Swamp Thing tuber.
a tuber. When the tuber's found. To be lies.
After the
Tubers, man.
they'd be crazy. We drop in on Abigail Arcane in her plant store, talking
yeah.
to her plants.
She sells those plants.
I assumed so. It seemed like that was like her plant store. Was she a scientist?
But
Like,
they just had
No,
names.
she just
that's
runs
just
that.
her.
Yeah.
That's just the asylum. She's just in the asylum.
that was her nurse.
That was her nurse. It's just
ignoring
like
her and watching
Yeah.
whatever.
No,
she
that's
was-
her shop, right?
Yeah, that's her
that's
shop.
her
Her plant
plant
store.
That's her shop. That's Eunice in the background.
Eunice.
It was
And-
great.
but she's not
runs the-
talking to Eunice the entire time.
No,
She's-
no. She comes
has
into
this
the
whole-
room talking.
She has this whole conversation just with her plants,
and then talks to Eunice.
and then talks to Eunice at the end.
It's
Eunice
a-
just shakes her head.
It's like she was practicing a monologue for a high school play,
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
blocking and everything.
but she's also given names to all the plants.
Yeah.
Including Gertrude, Jimmy, Danny, Murray, Tommy, Chucky, and Annette.
I
The
wonder.
Mouseketeers.
Yeah, I wonder if like those were Mouseketeers.
Well, there's no cubby. You gotta,
yeah.
you gotta have a cubby.
yeah. Otherwise, where will you put your lunch?
But so is that
Damn, I'm here all week.
kindergarten jokes? Yeah. So they were foreshadowing. She gives them all names, and is talking so tenderly. So it's already laying out there that she's pretty cool.
On that
She's
l-
pretty cool
She's down with the
plant wise.
plants, yeah.
that line from the trailer too. Why can't men be more like plants?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, and this shit it gets worse.
So the conversation she's having, she's just come back from seeing a psychiatrist, I think, or
Yeah.
Transcendental meditation is what I thought she said.
Yeah.
okay.
A dude,
It was her guru.
With her guru.
her
yeah.
guru, right? Yeah, she
but-
did say transcendental
Yeah.
meditation.
And she mentioned that this Star Trek
Reject.
costume wearing
Yeah.
guy told her that she needs to confront feelings about her stepfather before any of her relationships will work. And
So specific, but yeah.
and
okay,
apparently
maybe.
it's a conspiracy because that's the 4th shrink to tell her that in 4 years. So
She's all,
Maybe there's something to that.
you don't have to tell me 5 times.
So she decides to travel to the Florida swamps to do so. Meanwhile, back at Dr. Arcane's mansion,
All right, so look who's back.
yeah, just alive still.
Right, not the man bear pig that,
No,
he, that
not-
he once was.
He's just
not the
just
arcane
him.
baboon.
Yeah.
Just
Very not hairy anymore.
Yeah, he's just the dude.
No,
again.
he's back to
he used a
himself.
different
Yeah.
serum than Swamp Thing did, I'm sure. It's totally different.
Yeah, completely different.
Swamp Thing
Yeah.
just chooses to be a tree.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Back at the
yes, exactly.
back at the plant shop. That's where she had her T.J. Hooker joke.
Right.
She
Yes.
tells Eunice to leave the TV on because her plants like the TV and they really like that guy on the T.J. What's His Name show.
Right. She's talking about Bill Shatner.
Yes. So Dr. Arcane's goes into his secret evil lair elevator.
So it's probably the same pad as last time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But he's definitely expanded.
Oh yeah, it's not a dungeon down there anymore. It's a
R&D
lab.
really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And he's
Got to
checking
work.
for sure. He's checking up on some experiments that his evil scientists have been working on. We got Dr. Lana Zarel,
Who is?
who is Ursa. from-
Ursa.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's the
yes.
same actress, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Crazy.
And the other guy.
Ace Mask.
Ace Mask was the actor.
Yeah.
But
goofy
Dr. Rochelle.
Rochelle, that's right.
Rochelle.
Because Rochelle.
Yeah, exactly. From Minsk to Milan to Minsk.
Dr. Rochelle has an inhaler problem.
Yeah, he does.
He does not demonstrate any asthmatic symptoms. He just loves sucking on that inhaler.
Well, he doesn't even suck on it. It's just like a weird
Oh yeah, it just pops in.
Maybe it's like a breath mint.
Yeah, that's how it seems. Or it's more. Yeah, I don't know.
It's cocaine in there.
Yep, just to keep Rochelle going.
Mystified cocaine.
That's the best kind.
It's always mystified me.
The scientists have been combining genes from various swamp animals and human beings, creating some hideous creatures.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
There's some nasty ones down there.
Cockroach Bob. I believe.
Who got a credit?
Now he got a credit as Cockroach Bob as himself.
As himself. Because you may also know.
Because it probably wasn't a person. It was probably just a dummy.
Or a real hybrid.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned
have you thought about that?
The tranquilizer before, I believe that Bob was one of the Treasury agents from the scene before, and he got turned into a cockroach.
So fast.
Now he's Cockroach Bob.
So quick. And Arcane seems unhappy with the way things are going. It's like...
Yeah, no, things are not proceeding the way he would like. Well, he's got the guy with the elephant off the side of his head.
Mm-hmm. Right. And he just like tisks.
Who aims that thing? Like, yeah.
And he sees Cockroach Bob. He's like, we have enough insects around here.
Right. Why do you guys
get rid of it?
Why do you guys keep trying to combine insects with
Right.
humans?
So it's like, okay, Dr. Arcane, but the point is, like, this happened overnight. We got this Bob guy in the swamp last night, and now he's this full mutant cockroach. Like, I don't know. Look for the good. Yeah. Look for the results. You don't talk about each guinea pig.
Right. Silver linings.
Yeah. Well, science, right? Or is Rochelle just, he's like, I was an Amazon delivery guy and I just stayed.
Yeah. I couldn't find my way out. And here
I got my inhaler.
It was this or they put an insect in me.
Yeah. I chose B.
Yeah. So Dr. Arcane's visited by a local sheriff.
Wow.
Who is a bit of a rube. And
jokey.
And a misogynist.
And a misogynist. Oh,
Certainly
yeah.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's a good old boy.
Definitely.
He tells him about Swamp Thing saving the man in the swamp. Sheriff tells him he'll have to search the property because of the report of the monster attack. Arcane tells his men to find the Swamp Thing.
Yeah, the first of many times.
Yes.
You know, there are many scenes where Arcane is just yet again telling people to go out and get or find.
It's kind of cool, actually, just on that thought, because he is so effective at evading them. Whereas in the last movie, they ran into his ass everywhere they went.
Everywhere.
They're like, oh, shit, it's Swamp Thing again. Hey, man, where have you been? Like, I've been hiding right here next to you.
Right.
Well, this time, it's like he tells him to go find Swamp Thing and they accomplish something different. And then come home and forget about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then he'll be like, yeah, in bed or in the lab or it is, yeah. And every exterior shot of the mansion has henchmen walking all around, but I guess nobody was paid to rake the leaves. Or maintain the landscape.
I love the exterior shots because they're all in like Devo jumpsuits.
Yes,
sleeveless.
None of them are wearing shirts. It's like
they're like Red Rock colored. You know, they're like
sleeveless orange jumpsuits.
Yeah,
they're like gorilla monks.
Yeah.
So
in the swamp. That's what you want. Is
Arcane must have a lot of money to maintain this lifestyle.
And Arcane wears this weird straw hat and just is like so. It's such a weird
look. Right, depends on which version of Arcane you're seeing, but yeah.
Yeah.
After him. Find him. Get Holland. I want Holland's remains.
Do it.
Do it.
Get me a juice box.
Meanwhile, Abigail arrives in the swamp, being told by her cab driver that the Arcane Mansion is infamous for its experiments. It's more than famous.
Right. That's why the sheriff came to check up. He's like, those secret labs you got there, Dr. Arcane.
Y'all make a plant person over here?
Because the word is you make them some people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure he's up to normal mercenary stuff.
Right.
all above board.
Yeah, so you're a sheriff, you're a local sheriff, and you show up at this mansion with these dudes with automatic weapons and
many.
the sleeveless jumpsuits. You're like, this is all fine. You understand though?
This is America, sir. I totally understand.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
have this too if I could afford it.
That's what a white man could get away.
Yeah, it's
The sheriff doesn't notice any of that. All he sees are the
boobs.
couple of beautiful women that are
Boobs.
running around. It's like, you got a regular Playboy
whole
mansion
time.
around here.
Yeah.
That entire conversation is like a Bond villain talking to like a 12-year-old boy who's just like boobs,
Yeah.
boobs. It's the dumbest conversation ever. Like trying to
Yeah.
ask probing questions while staring not at his question person, but at the women around him.
Yeah, he's not a good sheriff.
Getting more and more
he
distracted.
He can't
Like-
believe she's a scientist. Like,
a lady scientist.
Oh yeah, he makes him. She's a top expert in crafting human genes.
yeah, craft.
And he
that's
like
it.
tries to spin like
button fly
a
and
joke
zipper.
around
Says
about that.
if
If you give her homework,
if
Doc.
you give her homemework, she can get in my jeans.
Yeah, she
something
can
like
get-
that.
and
Like,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
And Arcane is just
That
like,
was a good pun. You're like, oh, sheriff.
And Dr. Sorrell just gives the appropriate eye roll and walks
Yep.
away.
And then there's poinsettia.
Poinsettia.
What a strange name.
Yeah.
It's a plant.
Poinsettia. Where did I have notes on her? The actress was named Monique Gabrielle. She was December 1982 Penthouse Pet of the Month.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait, 1982?
1982.
All right. So that's like 6 or 7 years before this?
Yeah.
All right. Good
at,
for her.
At one point, I don't know if it was during the filming of this movie, but she was a girlfriend to director Jim Wynorski.
Okay.
All right. I bet she, yeah.
Perhaps her best known role is from Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah?
oh, was she like one of? Was she a
She's
stripper?
Was she
yeah, I believe
the
so.
lady?
Yeah, the seductress tries to
Did
seduce
she played
Tom Hanks.
She played Tom Hanks.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
Now, these days, she runs a South Florida porno production company called Monique's Perfect Productions.
Good for her. She
yeah.
a self-made businesswoman.
Yeah, it's a growth industry.
Yeah. So Abigail shows up and arrives at the mansion, and Arcane immediately tells his scientist to get a blood sample from her, as she looks exactly like her mother.
Yeah, so he wasn't expecting her, right?
No, he was
Yeah.
not.
That was a surprise visit.
So, yeah, totally chill. You can definitely come to this mansion anytime you need. You know, he has an open door policy, but an awful lot of armed guards at the same time.
and some secret experiments that defy the laws of God.
Well, yes, but let's start at the above ground, and then we'll go down to the lab. But yeah, you can apparently roll up to the Arcane Mansion.
In a sheriff's car or a cab.
Right.
Which the name of the cab company was the Gator Cab Company.
Gator.
And he drove all the way out there for $30.
Jeez.
That was $89 though, so
was,
that's like
yeah,
what, 50, $60 now? Yeah.
It was 2,000.
Let me get out my
Dollars.
1989 exchange rate.
Yeah, let's see.
calculator.
89. So I made $6 a
You're
week
not going to have a good
for
time.
folding my clothes.
One shining nickel. Arcane greets Abigail, and Anna shows her. Anna? Was it Anna or Hannah? It was Anna, right?
Wait.
The
doctor.
The doctor.
Oh, Lana.
Lana.
Lana Zarell.
That's right. I kept hearing Anna, and I was like, is that right?
Zarell.
Zarel?
Lana.
Yes.
That even sounds
Lana.
kind of, yeah, Kryptonian.
Lana shows her to her room. They trade barbs, and Lana leaves. That night, it's stormy out. Lana and Arcane have a romantic moment, while in her room, Abigail tosses and turns. Meanwhile, at a local tourist getaway, a couple boys are drinking soda and looking at the porno mags.
A local tourist getaway? I'm sorry. Uncle Shed's River Garden Estates.
I said what I said.
Where the byway meets the bayou. No reasonable rate refused.
Yeah, so you can go up and just
You just
make
go
an
up
offer.
and say, like, yeah, I want to pay this much. It's like, okay, that sounds reasonable.
If it's reasonable.
Yeah, but if it's unreasonable, then they'll refuse
Right.
you.
Then they'll refuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these kids' parents both run this place, I'm thinking.
Or live there, or yeah.
Well, the one kid maybe lives there.
Omi lives there.
I think their parents have already left them there, and the kids have not realized it. We're seeing like
they've been abandoned for good.
Yeah, it's like Home Alone with these kids, and their parents are like, they're terrible.
So
They are.
We're leaving.
Omi's parents, Omi is the nickname for Omar. His parents went out to play bingo
And never came home.
and never came
Never
back.
came home.
And there's no telling where Daryl's parents are, but both their cars are there
Right.
because later their cars get destroyed
That's
in
right.
the monster fight.
Daryl's dad's camera.
Right.
So, yeah, they're
Yeah.
nearby. They're nearby to each other.
Hey everyone, Thoreau from Harmless Phosphorescence here with a message for you. Yes, you listening to me talk. Did you know that the Harmless Entertainment Network has a Patreon? That's right, you can join in and get extra fun like a Star Wars Harmless Phosphorescence miniseries, a patron-only Q&A roundtable episode. We have great bonus episodes of audio dramas like Attention Hellmart Shoppers in 1994. But not only that, if we reach our next patron goal, we'll do a monthly bonus Harmless Phosphorescence about a patron-chosen non-superhero movie. Plus, there are great new shows on the way, and if you're a patron, you'll get to hear them first. Head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment today, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you too can join our super awesome superhero club. Now, back to the show.
I wrote down Daryl's a nihilist because
Yes, I wrote the
Omi
exact
says
same thing.
Omi says to him, like, I thought you said nothing matters. He's like,
Nothing does.
nothing does.
Yeah, just
But
straight.
apparently nothing matters except sodas and porno mags.
Yeah, a few things.
Daryl says you got
'Cause
the
a
hard
bunch
stuff,
of
and they
stuff
pull out the
matters.
Coca-Cola.
Coke and Pepsi.
Coke
One of
and Pepsi.
each.
Whoa.
One of each.
Yeah.
So there's a knock at the door, and the boys panic, assuming it's their parents. But it's actually the monster,
Leachman.
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 Cloris Leachman.
Artie Leachman. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I would have gone with Leech Man, but the way the credits, like, just put it into one word, it just looks like Leachman.
Leachman. Yeah.
Leachman.
Shake your fist at him. Leech man.
Leachman. Yeah, I wondered if Swamp Thing had encountered him before, or if this was, if
Leachman was
is new.
the guy at the beginning. He was the
What?
monster at the beginning
Yeah.
that attacked the treasury agents.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know
okay.
that.
Okay.
I wonder if Swamp Thing had encountered that beast before.
I
Or if
kind
it
of got
was
the
first
feeling.
time.
I don't know. I
Recently
got the
broken
feeling
out,
maybe
yeah.
like
Before this movie,
yeah.
entirely, because they did fight a little bit in the swamp at the very beginning.
Right.
So this is the second time they've encountered each other in the movie.
Right. But prior to the movie, Josh
Prior
is
to the
wondering
movie.
had they encountered each other.
Probably
perhaps?
not. I think he's relatively new.
Yeah, I think he's fresh out.
He's
Like,
new
he
on the
just-
scene.
He
That was
just
the
got out
debut
of
for
his,
Swamp Thing as
He's
well.
making his big debut.
He just escaped from
first issue.
the Arcane Mansion.
Okay.
All right, so the boys escape out the window. They're cut off by the monster. At the last minute, they're saved by Swamp Thing, who battles the monster, but causes a huge explosion.
Oh, wait. He's like Al's line about monsters.
Oh, it's Monster Central around here tonight.
Around here tonight.
Around here tonight.
Normally, it's not Monster Central.
Usually it's just the monster suburbs.
Right, exactly. One monster, maybe.
Not two.
Right, this is a two monster situation.
So yeah, they battle each other with, I don't know, they pick up sticks or posts or something, and they're
Yeah, they're just hitting.
trying to hit each other with that, and one of them hits a propane tank, and that's how things explode.
The explosion.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention though, when they are sitting on the floor and they're looking at the porno mags and everything, Daryl is reading, the stats on the centerfold, and he's like, I'm an Aries, and what was the model? But he's talking about the horoscope.
Yeah,
He's
she
like,
was
oh my
like-
God, they get along so well.
Yeah, no, she's a Capricorn. That's great. I'm an Aries. We get along perfectly.
Yeah. So wacky, this kid. Yeah, so anyways.
Yeah, so there's a huge explosion, and then the monster, enveloped in flames, runs into the swamp, presumably dies.
This was, it felt to me like a replication of the scene of Swamp Thing's birth
Yeah.
in the first movie. It looked
Yeah.
like the same dock that he ran off of into the same pool of swamp water.
Right.
The same explosion. Leachman falls in the water and just explodes.
Yeah.
Leachman.
We barely knew ye. We cut to Arcane reading the newspapers.
Oh, wait. So Omi and Daryl and Swamp Thing, they all give each other a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's true.
Good job well done.
Yeah.
The Terminator thumbs up from the good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he even said, he's like, I think that green one's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what? The kid was ripping off Chunk. I don't know.
No, he was very, well, yeah, but except way more annoying and screechy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Annoying and
said rip off.
screechy. I
But
gotta.
they're running through the door and stumbling into the chair.
Sorry, I got a tiny old lady vibe off of him the whole time.
Yeah, that could be. And I don't know. His voice was mixed oddly.
It was. Well, no, there was a ton of ADR all over this. I think that kid was all ADR.
Yeah.
So, Arcane's reading a newspaper story about the incident, and he orders his lackeys to search the area and capture Swamp Thing.
Yet again.
They set out in helicopters, four-wheelers, boats, and ski jets.
This looked like an advertisement, like, come visit the swamp. You too can ride an airboat.
On beautiful Louisiana.
Ride a jet ski.
Is this where we see Gunn reading Mercenaries Life
I
magazine?
don't remember.
No, I don't remember
Nobody caught that?
I must have missed
It's
it.
like Boys Life.
Yes. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yes. I shit you not. Yeah. Mercenaries Life.
It rings a bell.
This movie knew exactly what it was doing.
Then he's one of the times when he's having banter with Poinsettia, because he's like pointy or seta
Points.
points.
Poinsettia.
Hey, points.
That night, Abigail and Arcane have dinner, and Arcane asks why she's there. Abigail confronts Arcane about the past and what happened to her mother.
Why there was no funeral.
Right. Well, and why he didn't tell her.
Yeah.
You know, because his
that too.
explanation is like,
Important.
your mom wanted to be cremated, no ceremony, blah, blah. Still pretty lame.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and did she also tell you, don't tell me?
Yeah.
Was that one of her dying wishes?
It may have come up. I can't remember.
Yeah. Keep her guessing.
Yeah. Arcane presents her with a ring, which immediately pricks her, causing her to bleed. Arcane and Lana gloat over getting the blood sample. Abigail leaves,
And wanders off into the swamp.
just wanders
Yeah.
into the swamp.
Yeah.
In that thing she was wearing.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
In this mosquito-free environment with the sleeveless henchman jumpsuits.
Yeah. And
She's going to be covered in mud in like 4 seconds.
Yeah.
oh god, yeah. She's taunted by the lackeys on her way about her mother. And then she stomps off.
Yeah,
into the swamp
taunted
and-
about that. Like mother like daughter. Yeah, that was very
just
strange.
wandering off in the swamp to die.
Right, so I wonder when Gunn got hired and when Ferret, we know what happened to Bruno, but
Yeah.
I wonder when Ferret moved on.
Wait,
he got a
no,
promotion. or something.
Ferret
died.
He passed away in the first Swamp Thing.
We
What?
lost
I
Ferret.
heard what?
Ferret's dead, dude.
I heard he went to a
lost-
farm.
we lost-
upstate
We lost Ferret.
to,
didn't want to tell
run
you.
with other henchmen.
We didn't
old
know how you would
henchmen.
take it.
Oh,
Here's to Ferret. Pour one out
buried-
for your
well,
homie.
I'm not taking
He's
it
buried
well.
in a shoebox.
Did you ever know
Behind the old
that
oak
you're
tree.
my hero?
My
Pouring one
ferret,
out for Ferret.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arcane tells them to go after her.
Yes, that's all he does.
Just tell people to go find people.
Yeah, but which should have been the objective all along. We don't know how much time has passed because it's not important. But what have they been doing? We know they've been experimenting, but I don't know. Have they not been looking for Holland?
Is his plan to clone her?
Supposed to be. Oh,
Yeah, is that
not to clone. He says something earlier about her genetic code being identical potentially to her mom's.
It's like they just have to.
and it's sort of ambiguous as to what the.
Weird.
It's kind of just like he has to suck her life force out like a Skeksis in the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, that is what happened.
That,
later,
comes,
right?
that comes up later. Right
Well,
now,
but
it's ambiguous.
I felt like in the beginning it was more of a like, ooh, she has her mother's DNA. I
Right.
could make a new copy of her. And like the girlfriend was like,
I thought that at first.
boy, like
Or-
I don't want to make a new girlfriend
well.
for you.
Well, no, because it was like the DNA is the same as her mother, and her mother was a perfect match. I assume for him.
Right for
I
him.
assume. So what I assumed what happened was that he sucked the life force out of the mother to keep himself alive that long,
must
but he
have
needed
missed that.
more life force.
And that's
Yeah.
how Arcane came back from being a monster.
Well, that's it.
that
I
is
wrote
revealed
that.
later. Yes,
Is that what it was?
later in the movie. Yes.
Then, like-
Zarel and Rochelle brought him back from his monsterhood using
12 steps.
yes. 12 steps.
Wow. I must have missed that completely.
Arcane's Anonymous.
Arcane.
Monsters Anonymous.
She don't like Arcane.
Using Abby's mom's genetic material.
Yes, yeah.
That does come up later.
And what is the whole right? He's like, I'm deteriorating.
That's because I guess her genetic material ran out.
I know, it's just hilarious. It's like everyone is.
The plot is not tight.
Right. Okay.
So she out in the swamp, there's a couple bootleggers drinking moonshine around a fire. They're discussing their plans for the evening.
The evening, yeah. That still is humongous. Did anybody, notice?
Oh yeah.
The still
Is giant.
itself. Yeah.
The fact that the treasury guys couldn't find that.
Right, exactly. It's huge. It's like a craft brewery size.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
Their list of potential
Vast.
things to do on this evening.
By the way,
Go ahead.
which their list of potential things is worthy of some residents of Tromaville.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. What are we going to do for fun tonight? Feel like stealing a car? Nah. How about we burn down a house? Nah. What about we go over to the other town and run over some dogs? I'm sick of running over dogs.
Yeah, I bet
I
it
feel
gets
like
old.
killing something.
Oh, Gerdell, you always.
It's time we went in town and got us a woman. I forgot what a woman looked like.
I bet.
Do you remember? Nah, I ain't even seen a sheep around here lately.
Jeez.
And yeah. So Abigail comes upon them.
Yeah, she just walks right up.
Lucky her. That was a good move on her part.
Right. It's like you're from Los Angeles. You're not from, I don't know, South Dakota.
Yeah,
or
like
big,
you can recognize
tiny little
when,
towns.
Yeah, you can recognize when some dudes are bad news.
Right. I would have at least taken a few seconds to overhear their conversation.
Yeah. She asks them for directions and they attack her. Surprise.
Naturally.
They say she talks funny. She says, I'm from California. They say, I hate California. She's like, no problem. I'll move.
Yeah.
And it's like, anybody know you're out here? FBI, Charles Bronson, Chicago Bears.
Right.
She's got her lines
She's quick.
down.
She's quick.
She is quick.
woman.
Yeah. Luckily, Swamp Thing's nearby. He saves her and beats up the hillbillies. She thanks him and they introduce themselves. She's intrigued by him and he explains his origin with flashbacks. He tells her that Arcane is evil and she should leave. She refuses, telling him she must find out the truth about her mother. Swamp Thing tells her that he'll be close by if she needs him. And at that moment, she's abducted by Arcane's henchmen.
So at this point in the movie, this is where Swamp Thing gets a lot of dialogue. And his voice in this movie is simply ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so
In the first movie, it was kind of pained and labored. I just
Right.
got turned into this thing. Everything's a dream.
Yeah. It was
Blah,
like
blah,
the
blah.
next day.
But now he's
I'm a tree.
He's dapper and gallant and
very
Abby.
very Superman in the 50s.
He's a
hello.
He's a classic action hero character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a swamp outfit.
Well, and you want to know what's
Hunk.
fun?
He's an action hero hunk.
Yeah, he definitely is. Those broad shoulders. He looked good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did.
The costume
looked great.
looked way better than the
Swamp,
first one.
Absolutely.
And
Looked
the
good.
face makeup looked better too.
And he's looking very limber.
Yeah.
A lot more limber.
He runs a lot.
But in
But-
the
Yeah.
in the first one,
That must have been hot.
Dude, that's
in
the
the-
swamp too.
in the first one, Swamp Thing, Holland says that it only hurts when I laugh.
Yeah.
This one, he's
He
just
laughs a lot.
He is so delighted by Heather Locklear.
It's like there is no more pain. Yeah, no, he thinks she's hilarious.
It's like we rarely get comedy in the swamp.
Tell me, have you heard of this Seinfeld guy?
What about airline food?
What's up with that?
Would you like a delicious tuber?
Yeah, she does.
She does like a delicious tuber.
She's a whole for two.
Yeah, so they attack Swamp Thing and chase him into the swamp, and Arcane arrives to oversee the operation.
Yeah, dude, this time from a Jeep to tell people
To go get him. They fire automatic weapons and grenades, and he disappears. Arcane tells them to go find Swamp Thing's remains, and they trudge into the water.
But yeah, they did like properly blow him up.
They
Yeah.
really let him have it.
They did.
Yeah, this time it worked out with the blowing up of Swamp Thing.
Yeah, they did shred him.
Yeah.
They did their best.
Yeah.
No, they got him, right?
Yeah. No,
Oh, that's right. He did explode.
He
That's
explodes
right.
all over the place. He has to reconstitute himself later.
This was a necessary plot point.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, because it. Yeah. Okay.
Through
So
The only way
plumbing.
out is to be blown up by a hand grenade.
that's right.
And come up through the toilet.
No way out but through.
That was a rocket propelled grenade, my
Oh
friend.
yeah, RPG. That'll blow up a tree.
Yeah. Back in the lab, Arcane and his scientists explain to Abigail that they need a sample of Swamp Thing to keep Arcane alive.
And they ask her if she'd like a sip or a cup from that giant bowl of Kool-Aid that's constantly
Just bubbling.
It's like
got so many fucking
percolating
flies in
or
that,
it's
you know?
boiling. Or, yeah. It's like, this is Kool-Aid for everyone while you're working. And we didn't mention the disintegration booth.
Oh
that's right. He's got
Cockroach Bob
that
got-
alone.
That's quite a thing.
That
He's got
alone is like worth something to like the U.S. government.
Yeah, exactly. That's evil on its own.
Brian's right. That's how they dispatched Cockroach Bob earlier.
Yes,
They
they did.
vaporized him.
Yep.
It's great.
Which is like he's a cockroach. Hard to.
It's hard to
Hard
get
to
rid of those
perish.
guys.
Yeah. What was that movie? Hard to Die.
Hard to die.
Not Die Hard.
Not Die Hard. In bed, Arcane and Lana discuss Abigail, and Arcane says he doesn't want to hurt her if he can help it. They're interrupted by Rochelle, who tells Lana that it's a private matter. Arcane makes her leave.
Yeah.
Lana mentions that he always seems amused even when the consequences are most deadly.
Yeah.
And he responds with, "Laughter is best, isn't it?"
Yeah.
He's like,
It's just, I'm trying to be jovial.
Yeah.
Just trying to...
I'm a mad scientist. I'm not a monster.
Call this. Call the sheriff back. I've got more jokes.
He appreciates my humor.
Rochelle says it's a private matter, and then Arcane tells Lana to take her bath.
Yes, go take your bath.
That's a
Take your
weird
bath,
thing
woman.
to order somebody to do.
You're
It's never going well.
You see
But Rochelle.
okay.
tells
So it
her
had a
that-
budget of $4 million.
That's the estimated budget. I just stumbled into that right now. Sorry, I just saw it and I was like, what?
Brian just found out that this movie had a budget of $4 million.
Wow, 4.
So it was a bomb.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, big bomb.
What, it only made $274,000? Is that what
Yeah.
I saw?
It's-
before?
274,000.
Yeah,
million.
274,000.
That's a
Wow.
major bomb.
Yeah, that's like,
Ooh.
I bet everyone that saw it knew each other.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So we cut to the swamp where there's some green goo and electricity.
Yep.
I assume that's going to be important later. The
Oh, did we mention that Rochelle's private business involved Dr. Zarel's blood?
right. It was
Right. Yeah, he explains that.
That Lana's blood could be a counter agent to there's an antigen in Abby's blood that could cause a fatal reaction
Right.
in Arcane's blood.
yes.
But Dr. Zarel's blood could work as a counter agent, and Lana overhears Arcane saying whatever is necessary.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he asked him for a raise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Which again makes you just, I don't know.
You have any
What
thoughts of
is
that
he being
salary
paid?
increase we talked about?
Right. Can he use this on his resume?
I'm extra morally corruptible
He's like, well, I worked for
for
this.
money.
Oh,
I worked for a mercenary in northern Florida for a time.
and I think this might have been the first time I've seen it, but vertical blind wipe.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Very nice. Down in the lab, what's the name of the head guy? The head
Gunn.
lackey?
Security guy?
Gunn.
Gunn, yeah.
That's right.
Mr.
Gunn
Gunn.
is flirting with Abigail.
Yeah,
You can
flirting.
call it that.
Flirting. Huh?
Yeah,
It's his idea of flirting.
Yeah.
Upstairs, Lana draws a bath and ruminates on what the right thing to do is. Then the bath fills with Swamp Thing's reconstituted essence.
Yeah,
Swampy is sliming his way through the pipes.
He comes in
Right,
through the
yeah.
pipes and comes out
Looks
full.
like gross sausage or,
Yeah.
or guts.
Yeah, but no, it's vegan friendly.
Yeah, that's true.
Meanwhile, Arcane plays the organ.
Yeah.
Is he playing Bach?
I have no idea.
Not sure.
In the lab, Gunn shows Abigail around and then assaults her.
Yeah. Just giving her a tour.
He does. He's like over there.
3-hour tour.
He had her in the cell. She's like, don't you want to like show me around? He's like, okay. Shows her around, gives her a tour, tries to assault her.
Right.
Yeah. And then, he's like, wait, I'm not done.
It's like, oh, well, if you're not done.
Well, yeah, pardon me. Yeah. There are rules.
I don't know if it was a good line, but he says, let's play doctor. And she says, you know what my favorite operation is? A vasectomy. And gives him the
Bam.
knee.
Bada boom.
The knee to the groin.
She fights him off and escapes. Then she runs into Lana, who helps her escape and gives her the keys to a Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he drives. He has to drive.
I love that. Swamp Thing is like,
right.
I'll drive. Ladies can't drive. Only trees can drive.
Reconstituted
I may be a
trees.
tree, but I'm a guy tree.
And I just was basically remade in a bathtub.
Just now.
But get over.
After she gets the car keys, she's recaptured by the gorilla monks. And she's being led upstairs, and she never stops talking. She's just constantly trying to talk her way out of whatever. She's virtually babbling the whole time.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then they encounter Swamp Thing, who's come out of the bathtub.
Yeah.
And,
he beats them up. They take the Jeep and they drive off into the swamp amidst a hail of gunfire.
She says, how'd you get here? And he says, you might say I was piped in.
Meanwhile, she's like, why is that funny? I don't know. There's some context. I'm missing some context
Did
clues.
something happen off screen?
Abigail mans the shotgun and grenades as they get away.
Yep.
She takes it to him. Arcane notices
she shoots a lot of people from very far away with that shotgun, by the way. It was very much, it felt like a Walker, Texas Ranger kind of moment, though.
Oh, yeah.
Driving further and further away, automatic gunfire pointed at them, like 15 people, and she is just like, boom, I shot the guy up on the roof. Boom, I shot the guy on the porch. And it's like, you were a quarter mile away. You are not hitting anything with that shotgun, lady.
Nothing.
And where are you getting bullets? Where are you getting rounds for this freaking shotgun at? Yeah. Anyways, and she's a great throw with the grenades. That was just a funny moment for me. I was like, wow, she's bulletproof and a good aim.
Exactly. Arcane notices a chunk of Swamp Thing's body stuck to the porch, and saves it.
Puts it in his pocket.
Yep.
You know, saves it for later. Little tuber, get you high.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll see you on the camping trip this weekend.
I'm going to Burning Man. I need these
But that
tubers
means
for the
he's going in his
summertime.
backyard
and burning a man.
It's like, I'm going to dress like a pig and light a guy on fire. I do it every year, an anniversary of the time I turned into a pig and lit a guy on fire.
Yeah. Lots of fire. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about fire and animals. Meanwhile, the kids from the resort are planning on getting a picture of Swamp Thing. They argue a bit. They have a witty repartee.
Yeah, they do. Is this when? I know we've been joking about the tuber all along, but is that now?
So in the swamp, Abigail awakes and flirts with Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing's just watching her sleep.
Right, and just
Which he did to Adrienne Barbeau too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I have no need for sleep. Yeah,
So I'll
she's just
stare at
like,
you.
yeah, she's sort of leaning up against a tree. It looks terribly uncomfortable.
It does.
She wakes up like,
A fresh new morning. She tells him that she sees the soul of a beautiful human being inside him, and he breaks off a piece of himself and feeds it to her.
he eats it first.
Well, he eats it first. Yeah,
Yeah.
he eats a bunch of it, and then she eats like a little tiny leaf.
Yeah.
So is this just bottom line, just like a romantic gesture, or what the heck is that about?
Yeah,
Like,
so
That's plant sex, my friend.
it
is
started
that the
off.
first phase of play? That's
is-
like second base.
You know, you eat a little leaf.
Is he eat a little bit
You
of
hallucinate.
So he wants her to hallucinate him as a. So yeah, upon rewatching it,
yeah.
because the first time I was like, I don't know what is happening.
right?
Yeah.
The second time watching it, I figure he wants to make her hallucinate him as a human so he can get some.
Right. Okay.
Or so she understands that
Yeah,
he's a human, but it's mainly just so he
Just to
can
make
get
her
some.
more comfortable,
So
because
the-
I think he was going to get some either way.
Yeah.
So there is a
But-
drug that can make you see a dude in jeans.
Yeah, it's called Swamp Thing.
Who is not Ray
called
Wise,
Swamp
I'd like
Thing.
to point out.
Not
Yeah,
at
or
all.
Not
it's
at
Dick
all.
Durock, right?
Dick,
I think so, yeah.
On first and second watching, I got the impression that when he was human and they were making out, that they weren't actually physically getting physical, that was all in their minds.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
So what
they're
were they doing?
Doing some sort of mind romance.
Like doing the mirror game? Where
No,
they
no,
move-
yeah. So
they move
when-
their hands
yeah,
around
when
each other.
when they come out of the hallucination, they're just sort of sitting there holding hands.
All right.
Yeah.
And sitting very still. But in the hallucination, yeah, it looks like they're making out, and
So
Well,
it was
she's
like a
into
hallucinatory
getting,
VR.
getting physical. Yeah,
She is
Yeah.
into TM.
It
transcendental
seemed very
meditation.
like he seemed like checkmate, gentleman of the world. Like I can do it with a touch. Like it was
Yeah.
it was a weird moment where it's like this is why trees are better than normal human beings, kind of
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. It was
Because they
weird
can get you.
because you can get high, you can hallucinate.
Yeah, so he
do
it-
he is
do it with them.
hallucinogenic. If you eat him, he
Yeah.
is hallucinogenic.
Licking
Far
a
out.
frog.
That's cool.
she asks. She asks the question, "Was it real?" And he says, "As real as you want it to be."
Yeah, and she gives like a goofy smile.
So
You're high, girl. You're on drugs.
So yeah. Meanwhile, Arcane is told they haven't been able to find Swamp Thing or Abigail.
again,
He's displeased. Down in the lab, Lana takes out Rochelle, injecting him with the serum.
Rochelle's looking at a porno mag
Yes.
and trying to figure out how to put flippers on the one girl. He's like, "Oh, you'd look great with flippers."
He's got a type.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then back in the swamp, the kids are still looking for Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing and Abigail are walking through the swamp arm in arm.
So they think they're going to get $10,000 from the National Spectator.
Yes.
And they say, "Why do you think it'll be $10,000?" And Omi says they paid twice that for a picture of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And Daryl says, "Well, he's
More thing.
Bigfoot's more famous than this guy."
It's true.
Yeah.
It is true. But Bigfoot doesn't have his own movie.
So Daryl and Omi were like
he does.
TM. They were.
Oh, Harry and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
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 Fair enough.
Omi and Daryl were basically TMZ.
Oh, yeah. They were paparazzos.
Exactly. Breaking stories.
Yeah, so the kids take a break and discover they're nearly out of food. They hear a noise and a group of Arcane's henchmen capture them.
Yep.
Swamp Thing gives Abigail a flower when they hear the kids yelling. He runs to help, beating up the men, and he agrees to let them take a picture of him. But before they can, Abigail screams and Swamp Thing runs off, only to find her captured by Arcane's men and getting away in a fan boat.
Fan boats back. Yeah.
Omi and Daryl had a great Monty Python cheese shop moment with the snacks earlier.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you recall. It's like, give me one of them
Ho-hos.
Give me one of them ho-hos before you eat them all.
Twinkies?
I'm sorry, they're gone. Twinkies? No. Dumb. Whatever the rest of them were. but
Totino's pizza
it was-
roll.
No.
Yeah.
Kid ate all the food except like 2 apples.
Some apples. But then the mercenaries take, I think it's Gunn
Take-
himself.
it
He's
was
like,
Gunn.
yeah, nice apple,
Nice
kid.
apple.
This is a good apple.
Yeah. So if you're a bully, you got to
was
do
like-
that. You got
he
to
was
tell
like-
them how much.
Oh, yeah, well, I got her number. How you like them apples?
Exactly. Worcester.
And Swamp Thing poses
Worcester.
for a picture.
Yes.
On his insistence that Daryl gets in the picture with him.
Yeah.
And Daryl doesn't want to because he's shy now.
well, he's,
yeah,
he's scared
a
of the
little-
Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Naturally.
Naturally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cute.
If any middle-aged man
and,
just says he wants to
and
take a
Omi was-
picture with you.
Omi said, "Can we get a picture for a science project?" Yeah, that's the ticket.
The ticket.
That's the ticket.
Already at the, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
that's the ticket.
yeah.
Morgan Fairchild.
At Arcane's compound, they're expecting Swamp Thing to come, but they're ready for him.
You'd think.
They're ready for him. The plantation's on Hyler, and the goons are just running around willy nilly.
Yeah.
like
That's
in
high
the
alert.
back. In the background, they're just
Right, that's
running
high
every
alert.
which way.
Everyone, this is the night we've been training for. I just got back from Okinawa.
A lot of you said I was insane.
Exactly. You guys run that way. You guys run that. Come on, we're doing it Okinawa style.
Arcane instructs his men to find Rochelle, who's missing.
Oh, he tells them to go look for
Somebody. Yeah. Abigail is tied up in the lab on some sort of scientist chair, and some Frankenstein-y looking science seat. And Lana tells her that she can't help her escape, but she informs her that Rochelle killed her mother in an experiment gone wrong.
Yeah, Rochelle.
Gunn and Poinsettia have a sexy little scar swapping.
Yeah.
A scar off.
A scar off.
Like
yeah.
Jaws and chasing Amy.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Yeah,
It was.
They're comparing scars. Gunn, Grenada, 1983, friendly fire.
Grenada.
Poinsettia, Falkland Islands, 1982, shrapnel. Gunn, Nicaragua, spring break, 1986. Poinsettia, Beirut, summer vacation, 87. Gunn, Cindy, 1967, Haight-Ashbury, the summer of love.
Yeah.
Poinsettia, Motley Crue tour, 1988.
And it's
Which is
teeth.
and she is married to Tommy Lee. At this time, I did
Wait,
look it up.
Poinsettia?
No, Heather Locklear.
Okay, all right.
So that was maybe a little inside joke for themselves.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mayhaps.
And she's got like a tooth imprint on the top of her boob,
Yeah.
which she almost reveals, but then they both get hot
Right.
and start to make out, but they're interrupted by just a random goon. And Gunn says,
oh yeah.
Gunn says, doesn't anybody knock?
Yeah.
And-
the Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
And great timing, Swamp Thing reaches his arms through the bars of the gate, knocks the heads of two guards together, and says, "Knock, knock."
Yes, he does. He forces his way. Previously,
Delicious time.
though Arcane showed up and told Abigail that she was going to help him achieve immortality.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and he's all, God will pardon me. That's his job.
No, that's a little bit later,
All right, well,
but still.
But
you
yeah,
all
so-
start.
like a waiter
y'all keep thinking.
like a waiter clearing a table. I don't have to do it.
Right.
At this point,
I'll keep
Abby
it to myself.
Abby asks if he sold his soul to the devil, and Arcane says, "Let's just say he has a lease with an option to buy."
Yeah. He does like
yeah.
jokes, like he told
They
Lana.
all like jokes.
Yeah.
So Arcane begins the procedure.
The doldrums of being mercenaries and
We've got to
henchmen.
get our fun somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Swamp Thing takes out some guards, and then in the basement, Arcane is being filled with life sucked out of Abigail. Abigail flatlines.
Well,
Up above, Swamp Thing fights the head of security and blows up his Jeep.
I got
Gun.
you now, Mr. Potato Head.
That's right.
yeah. Yeah.
Then, he forces his way into the mansion. In the lab, Arcane feels great, but he notices pustules on his hand.
Yeah.
He realizes that Lana switched the serum, so he kills her.
Yep. You betrayed me.
And then he says, "God will pardon me." That's his job.
I see.
Swamp Thing enters the lab and attacks Arcane.
That is not his job.
Rochelle.
He's been pretty clear about that.
Arcane, he's Swamp Thing comes in. Arcane just looks at him like, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
Oh, I've been a bad boy.
And Swamp
Right.
Thing throws a chair at him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Arcane is down for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just on the floor. It
But
took
still
one
reacting.
chair. It took one chair. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still reacting.
Well, because he's not Man Bear Pig anymore.
no, he's not.
No.
He doesn't have his sword.
Right. But he's got
He was
jokes.
much more aggressive
He's-
in the first
He's
movie.
deteriorating.
He's old. He's
Yeah.
doesn't look like it, but he's old.
So
He's deteriorating.
Rochelle, now a monster, bursts forth and battles Swamp Thing.
Rochelle.
Swamp Thing kills him.
We know it's Rochelle because he takes two final blasts off the inhaler.
Yeah, right.
Well, and what did he look like? What was Rochelle?
He just had a giant forehead.
Oh yeah.
He
Oh,
looked
right.
like Sigourney
Mask.
Weaver's weird alien kid from Alien Resurrection.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say Mask from that Cher movie.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
but less hair.
Yeah. So Swamp Thing kills him.
Less hair than Cher.
Yes,
Well,
and
yeah.
less hair than Mask.
Ace
The
mask.
kid, no.
I know. Eric Stoltz. in the
Yes,
mask.
Eric Stoltz. Yes, thank you.
I just want to. Yeah. There's so many ways to go.
Swamp Thing kills him, and the lab begins a self-destruct sequence.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, it's like I can't do that thing. Time to blow up.
He tosses him into the disintegrator.
Yeah.
The Rochelle monster is highly ineffective at battling Swamp Thing.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
He's worthless.
yeah.
Well, he never
He
got
was just a scientist
Yeah.
before. He doesn't know
He
anything.
never, and he never got that raise.
No.
How much are you going to stick out
Yeah,
your neck?
he's a minimum wage monster.
Exactly.
And the disintegrator begins to overload.
Yes.
There's
Oh, is
three-
that what happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought it just was self-destructing.
No.
Because that's what labs do
But
at
yeah,
the end of movies.
yeah.
Right. No, but that was the recording.
It
There
was the
a
recording.
Yeah.
It-
Self-destruct.
Yeah.
The recording said disintegrators and overload self-destruct in 3 minutes. And
Okay, so the lab was
Instead of shutting
self-destructing in
down.
order to stop the disintegrator from overloading? Because I
Right.
don't know why there would be a self-destruct when this disintegrator
Because it
goes
would
into
disintegrate
overload.
blowing
everything.
up.
Unless if the disintegrator
Is-
did
is it
overload.
the disintegrator that's
Why not
self-destructing?
just
But
have
why
it
would there be a
shut down?
recording?
If it's I don't know.
And they specifically called it self-destruct.
They have recordings for everything these days.
The modern world with its comings and goings.
You can change the recording to anything you want, you know.
Every eventuality.
There was one that was like, hey, you missed me this time. Get me on the flip side. Leave a message at the beep.
Yeah. Exactly. Believe it or not, I'm not home.
So then Gunn arrives with the chainsaw.
Hedge trimmer.
It was a hedge trimmer.
It was a hedge trimmer, yeah. Totally a hedge
And
trimmer.
Swamp Thing takes him out.
Just so easily.
Yeah.
But now he, instead of calling him Mr. Potato Head, he calls him Jolly Green Giant.
Yes. Swamp Thing grabs Abigail and leaves the lab. The lab self-destructs with Arcane in it, and the entire mansion explodes.
Arcane's just laying on the floor, just looking so chill.
Yeah.
He's exchanging looks with Swamp Thing. He's just like,
Yeah.
He's like
Like he's lounging.
he's like,
he's lounging, yes.
He's like, you have to, if you don't slow down and smell the roses once in a while.
He's all, nothing went my way, but
What a ride.
Laughter is best.
Yeah. Laughter is best.
It's a funny old thing, this life. Swamp Thing walks into the swamp carrying Abigail.
Maybe Arcane ate a tuber.
He was,
At the end.
he was envisioning himself making out.
Topless with jeans on. Just bare chested. Louis Jordan on jeans.
The next morning, Swamp Thing uses his powers to revive Abigail. The kids get their picture. Abigail sprouts a bud from her foot as they embrace.
So
This is the scariest part of the whole movie is her foot.
Yeah. That was creepy.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing mentions there may be side effects. And
some side effects. Yeah, exactly.
she's just going to have to stick around to find out. And asks if it's okay
Certain
if she...
fungal infections have been reported.
My question is, did he wait for the body to get like extra cold? Was he just like, I'm going to wait until the sun comes up because my powers don't work at night?
Yeah,
or was he
what's the
just
deal there?
Or was he just like, I'm tired. I'll just
We had to get her to a safe space.
Nice spot.
Maybe
like,
he was tired.
But he
maybe
just like left
the
her body there
the
for a few
sun-
hours and was like,
Maybe.
Maybe the sun thing.
I
he
prefer
needed
Ran to the
more
grocery
some
energy.
like
store.
him cold. I don't know. Cold blue.
There was a
What a weird way to bring somebody. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a point where it actually looked. He actually looked surprised that she came back to life.
Yeah.
Like, that's never worked before.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird thing. I thought, like, you
Yeah.
think he'd be like, I'm going to make her alive right now so we can run away.
So we can run away.
Yeah.
And the two begin their life in the swamp together.
Yeah.
One living
And
off
we-
of a diet of sunlight, and the other off of a diet of plant dick.
Yep.
I mean, tubers. Sorry,
Tubers.
tubers.
Oh, shit.
She's a vegetarian, you guys.
Well,
She's a vegetarian.
let's not all pretend like we don't know what that means.
Yeah, we know what that
So
means.
she eats. Oh,
She's
Oh.
she is like
she-
Tammy from if you guys watch Rick and
Tubers.
Morty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, how does she survive in Bird Planet? Yeah,
Yeah. So, that is the return of Swamp Thing.
except for the mid-credit cutscene.
Yeah, this is our first
The
like
first
post.
cutscene. Did you not stick around for it?
Oh,
you
God.
didn't
You
throw
didn't, you didn't watch past the end?
Wow.
You
jumped
haven't
right
been
out of the
completely
swamp.
conditioned by
What?
modern comic book movies to stay. And
Oh my God, I'm gonna have
Gotta
to.
watch the whole thing. Okay, so the cutscene cuts to Omi and Daryl at the photomat.
At the photomat.
Back in town.
Right.
Omi says, "What do you mean you didn't put film in the camera?"
yeah.
it's amazing.
Daryl says, "Me,
Hilarious.
you're the photographer. Who said I had to load it?"
And once again, it's a swamp gas station. You know, it's a gas station, and all around it is the swamp, and then bam, there's a photo mat
It's Jude's place.
Also, there. Yeah, exactly. He expanded it. Exactly.
Yeah, Jude's now 20 and runs a photo mat. at
Right. It's
this
like we
little gas
expanded.
station.
We added a photo mat because Arcane is always getting creepy ass photos developed. It's just Arcane in
Find
a
it? Oh, wow.
in a robe.
All right.
Wait, Joey Seagal, is he related to Steven Seagal?
No.
Or Katie Seagal. Ace Mask. That's what I was talking about, man.
Yeah, that can't be his real name.
Monique?
Gabrielle.
Gabrielle.
Man, she was just...
She totally looks like a
Baby-delic
chick
the
that
whole
would be
time.
in Penthouse in the
She
80s.
was Baby Delic.
Yeah.
She was fun.
Ronrico Lee.
Woo, Ronrico.
He actually had a decent career in.
Yeah. TV.
Him, not so much. Not Daniel Taylor.
No.
Didn't do a whole lot.
Man,
This
Swamp Thing gets his own series. I think the year following this.
yeah, and Dick Durek is Swamp
And,
Thing.
yeah,
On TV.
on TV. Yes, on the USA Network.
Oh, USA. Okay. All right.
Man, you're a photographer. Yeah, but it's your camera. Who said I had to load it? I did. Did not. Did too. You probably had a Twinkie in your ear or something. Shut up, homie. No, you shut up. You shut up. No, you want to make something of it? Yeah. It'll be 2 hits. I'll hit you and you hit the floor. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. I really don't care. I really don't care, you know, because you never were my friend as is.
Let it play for a second. Let it play for a sec.
Oh, wait.
Because we have the bookend of Born on the Bayou. It goes out the way it came in.
Yeah.
It feels fun.
Yeah.
It does.
It's a little jokey at the end there.
You got
Like a
CCR.
National Lampoon's movie.
It's like an Iron Man movie. It's the closest thing that I can compare it to.
No, very
like
much,
The rock
yeah.
and roll,
Yeah.
the post-credit scene, the comic book things, the chick falling in love with him madly and eating a tuber off of his body. That happened
Yeah,
in Iron
some
Man. I don't know if you guys
tubers.
remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Happens in most comic book hero movies.
When
In
Gwyneth
almost all of
Paltrow
them.
ate the tuber
Yeah.
off Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Just okay. Just the two.
Do we see Swamp Thing again? Or was this is this it?
No, that's it.
That's
it's
it?
just
That's it.
credits from
Closing
here.
the
Well,
book
no,
on
no,
all
I mean, like,
Swampy.
do we see Swamp Thing
oh,
again?
is there a Swamp Thing 3?
Three.
No.
No.
Okay.
This is our last.
Movie-wise,
Yeah.
yeah. There was
Yeah.
a series, 3 seasons, I believe. But no
This
more
is
Swamp
this
Thing
is
movies.
this is our last trip to
Something
the swamp.
to possibly look forward to in the future if it happens.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
had the helicopter and
So, ultimately, I would qualify this as a swamp romp.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Definitely.
Leachman.
It was a lot of fun. Swamp Thing, he used a lot of conventional weapons like baseball bats and grenades.
Yeah.
That's true.
He did.
Propane
Yeah,
tank.
some punching and whatnot. I kind of like what they do with Swamp Thing in later years. Recently, he does a lot more plant stuff.
Yeah, kind of Groot-ish. Kind
Yeah.
of like stuff that you see
Makes
in the movie.
makes
yeah.
things grow.
I mean,
and
I have
looks
to.
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
I have to
you know.
imagine that at least some of that was like budget and
Oh yeah,
technological concerns.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But still, it was a fun movie.
It was.
It's a great creature movie.
It wasn't deep.
This
No.
reminds me of being a kid and all the Halloween marathons. This was something that would get played on TV.
No, this was one of
Yeah.
the most fun movies we've seen so far.
absolutely
Just fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Which brings us to
The hardest part with
the
this movie.
rankings. We could get like a boxing bell or something
Ding,
to put in
ding,
there.
ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding.
So we have 12 on there so far. This is going to be number 13.
Can we start from the top with this one?
Yeah,
Because we started from the bottom on the last.
we can
two.
start from the top.
Yeah, what's our number one right
Number 1 is Superman.
Okay.
now? Okay.
Number 2 is Batman 66.
Okay.
Number 3 is Swamp Thing. Yes, interesting. Number 4, Superman 2. Then Superman 3. Then Supergirl. That's smack dab in the middle. Supergirl and above is the top. Below Supergirl is the bottom half.
So it's above Supergirl.
I would agree. It's above Supergirl.
All right.
Al,
I don't
Josh.
Just above Supergirl.
It's definitely not above Superman 2, and I don't think it's over Superman 3.
Yeah.
I would absolutely not put it over 2, and 3 would be a real stretch for me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it beats Supergirl. I don't know.
Okay,
it's
below-
not a hill I
bel-
want to die on.
below
I don't
Su-
care either way.
Below
but,
Supergirl is Superman and the Mole Men. I think it's definitely
better than that.
better than that.
I feel like because of its like modern kind of comic bookness, I want to Yeah, I think this is better than Supergirl was, because that was kind of lost in time.
All right, so in between that and Superman 3.
Okay.
But just barely.
Just barely.
Just,
qualified.
Do you want me to put a just barely?
Just barely, yeah, please, if you
Like
could.
a little asterisk.
Just barely.
In our total bullshit universe of grading engagement.
Supergirl had
It's really important, you guys.
There's an asterisk. Please
Supergirl
click
had a
on that.
little more story to it, and
Sure.
this had a little
And a
more,
whole
little more romp to it.
Panache.
Well, thematically,
little
I
more
think this
fun.
is more even too. This just
Yeah.
this understood what it was the entire time.
Took 2 kids to replace Jude, though.
Oh yeah, and they still
they
couldn't do it.
Yeah,
They didn't
pull
do
it
it.
off.
Did not
That's-
have that charm.
To me, that's the weakest part of the whole movie is those
The kids,
kids, and we all
absolutely.
talked about that like while we were watching it, which is
And I can definitely see what that was. I can see what they were going for with the kids.
Yeah.
They just didn't
Well,
quite
absolutely.
get there.
I know what they're going.
it was kind of a Goonies-ish kind of relationship, but there were not enough kids.
They
to
were
have it
finally
feel-
funny in that last scene
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, seriously.
after the credits.
So, all right, we're putting the Return of Swamp Thing at number 6. Bum-ba-da-dum. So that's about it. Next week, guys. Next week, what are we watching?
What are we watching?
Batman.
Oh, my
1989.
Wow. Okay. That's gonna be fun.
That's the kind of the beginning of the modern era of superhero filmmaking.
Yeah,
So
it was.
excited.
It was a benchmark for sure.
Real actors,
Right?
Real everything.
Yeah.
real everything.
Yeah, they understood the source material.
They knew how to market it.
Yeah. Oh my God, the marketing. You, Brian, were too young.
No,
but-
no, I remember a lot
you?
of that. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
weird, but I
they minted
remember-
those VHS tapes pretty. I remember that was the first time I was like, "Boom! I'm buying a movie." That's
I made we had my dad
my
had,
money.
my dad had bought a Beta machine in 1982
Yeah.
and he was sticking with it.
Oh, that's funny.
He bought it. He wasn't going to go to this VHS bullshit.
My dad loves Batman, so as a little baby, that was like a thing, and I remember watching it on VHS
Right.
over and over and over.
Yeah, yeah. So but then Batman
We got rid of our Betamax.
right? Batman came out and I made my dad buy a VHS machine so I could own Batman on videotape.
it wasn't released on Betamax.
Not that we could find.
Wow.
You put it in just some knockoff version.
It's like Buttman.
Yeah, exactly. Directed by this guy.
So, all right, next week we are looking at Batman 1989, Tim Burton. That's about it for us this week. This has been Moonshiner, Thoreau Smiley, and I've been joined by...
Tuber. Totally tubular.
He's been eating
Josh Cece.
He's been eating those tubers again.
Yep.
I'm Brian Lesh, and my ignorance is only exceeded by my incompetence.
I'm Alaric Weber, and I've always been what you'd call a likable guy when I'm not blowing someone away.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye. Harmless Phosphorescence was brought to you by executive producer Atticus Burkett, producers Michael Beckwith, Jojo Birchtree, Hedda Paulson, Kirsten Reed and Alyssa Dent, and Katie and Finn Thorpe. Make sure to rate and review us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Harmless Phosphorescence is a part of the Harmless Entertainment Network. Become a patron at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Thank you for listening.